Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome back. Can you see my screen, everyone? Can you hear me? Am I audible? Can you confirm anyone? Fine. Yeah. So we have completed three demos, right? So DevOps introduction, question and answers, and also cloud introduction. Fine. So anyone newly joined today, you can share your WhatsApp number and email address in the chat so that we'll provide you all the previous recordings. Okay. Yeah, today we are going to discuss about SDLC. It is a software development lifecycle, right? In real-time projects, how the developer develop the code. So the code will be, how they move the code to remote repository. So from there, how can we pull the code by using CI/CD, and how the code will be converted into artifact. So how the code will be deployed onto production. So what is our role? So what we will do as a DevOps engineer, so and a cloud engineer. So how can we work on the CI/CD? Let's try to understand today. So because before going to tools, this is very important. So every organization they are following currently Agile methodology, right? What is Agile methodology? What is Agile? Anyone? So we discussed already. Agile and waterfall. We discussed, right?
Sprint, we have sprints in Agile.
Yeah. In Agile, we prepare the sprints, right? So what is sprint, anyone?
Timeline.
Yeah, sprint is a timeline, right? So as per the project requirement, we can create the sprints. Like it can be 1 week to 1 month. So 1 week sprint. For example, one sprint started today. By next Sunday EOD that should be completed, right? Yeah. So one sprint started today, monthly sprint that should be completed by next month 5th, right? So as per the requirement, as per the project policies, we can get the sprints. Okay, we work on the sprints. Fine. Yeah, let's get started. Software development lifecycle. In SDLC, in SDLC, so normally every developer they work on local workspace, right? So every developer they work on local workspace. What is local workspace? Anyone?
Mission local system.
Yeah, correct. So local system, right? Like desktop or laptop, right? So this we can say local workspace, local workspace, right? So where we start our work, where developer develop the code, right? It can be a folder also. We can say it can be a folder also, right? So developer start the development in their local workspace. So workspace is nothing but it is a just like folder, right? Yeah. So thus we can say local Git also, Git. Okay. So this is a developer A, developer B. Two developers are working on their local workspace, local Git. Okay. So for example, 10 developers are working on the project. 10 developers what they will do parallelly they work on the application development, right? So one application will be divided into bits and pieces, right? So every application is having three major components. What are those? Front end, back end, database, right? Plugins, hotfixes, right? We can say. So, for example, 10 developers are there. Three developers are working on front end UI. Three developers are working on back end, right? API development. So, four developers are working on databases. So, that front end, back end database, what they will do, they integrate. Once it is integrated, so application will be built. Fine. Yeah. So two developers are working on their local workspace. Yeah. So developers always prepare they work on the coding part. They prepare the applications. They develop the applications, right? So once development is completed, what they will do? They push the code to
test. QA, QA.
This we can say remote repository, remote repo, or we can say GitHub. Okay. Yeah. So normally in local system, local laptop or desktop, they start the development. Once development is completed, they push the code to remote server, right? So because currently we are discussing about Agile methodology. Agile. What is Agile? Agile is a parallel development. Parallel development. So what is parallel development? What is parallel development?
At a time we can work on so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, parallel development is nothing but so developers, the people who are working on the application development. So parallelly, right? So for example, waterfall. Before working on this agile, we used to work on waterfall. What is waterfall methodology? What is waterfall methodology?
Step by step process.
It is a
Step by step process.
sequential development, yes, step by step process. Okay. So in waterfall methodology, development will not move forward because so 50% of the development is completed in waterfall methodology. So in middle of the activity, one hot fix happened, one
They
issue
cannot
happened.
go back.
So what will happen?
They will not go back.
They will not move forward, right? So first they need to fix the issue, then they can go, or else they need to entire roll back and they can, right? So waterfall methodology is a sequential development. Yeah, in this waterfall methodology, development will take more time, right? So for example, small application development is there. It takes at least 6 months, 1 year like that. But currently, we are working on Agile. Agile is a parallel development. So application development will be happen parallelly, right? So yeah, in parallel development, Agile methodology, we create the sprints. So sprint is nothing but it is a timeline, right? Timeline. So as per the project requirement, we can design the sprints like 1 week to 1 month. Okay. So yeah, fine. So in parallel development, agile methodology, developers they work on the same requirement, right? Multiple developers are working on same requirement. Once development is completed in their local workspace, they push the code to remote repository, right? So once the code is moved to remote repository, in this flow, we required one CI/CD tool, right? So why we required CI/CD tool? What is CI/CD?
Continuous integration and deployment.
Yeah. So most popular tool is Jenkins. CI/CD tool. It is a CI/CD. So in place of Jenkins, we can use TeamCity, other tools also there. But 85% of the project teams they're using Jenkins to build the code, to deploy the code, to perform this CI/CD, right? So to work on build and release, they're using Jenkins. Okay. So what is Jenkins? What Jenkins will do? So this flow is very, very important. SDLC. So what is Jenkins? Jenkins is a CI/CD tool. So it's a continuous integration, continuous deployment, or continuous delivery tool, right? So in DevOps, we have multiple tools are there. All the tools are individual tools. One tool will not communicate other tool. In DevOps, we have multiple tools are there. All the tools are individual tools. One tool will not communicate with the other tool, right? So because Jenkins is the mediator tool, will communicate all the tools, it will integrate all the tools by installing plugins, right? For example, so we have Git, Maven, Tomcat, Kubernetes, Ansible, Docker. So these are all individual tools. One tool will not communicate other tool, right? So Jenkins is the mediator tool. It will communicate all the tools. It will integrate all the tools by installing plugins. Okay. So for example, so here code is available in the GitHub. So our code is available. So this code developed by developers, right? Yeah. So this code I want to deploy onto production environment. So how can I deploy? So without CI/CD tool, you cannot deploy in Agile methodology, right? So earlier in waterfall methodology, manually we used to push that war files into respective servers. but currently we are not using waterfall. So currently we are using Agile. In Agile, what we will do? Yeah, we can integrate the CSD tool, and we can yeah. So for example, if you want to pull the code from GitHub to Jenkins, very first thing we need to install one plugin, which is a GitHub plugin in Jenkins. Okay, so GitHub plugin we need to install in the Jenkins, so that what will happen once you install the plugin, Jenkins will start communicating with the GitHub. Okay, yeah. Once install the plugin, so here next what we will do, we create the jobs in Jenkins. So manually we don't push the war files or jar files into target servers. Okay, yeah.
So
In
one question.
yeah, go ahead.
So now we are using Jenkins, right?
Yes.
So we need to install the plugin.
Yes.
So what if we are using Docker or Kubernetes? So do we need to install same like
Yes, yes.
plugins?
For example, if you want to integrate Kubernetes with the Jenkins, so we need to install Kubernetes plugin in Jenkins,
Jenkins.
right? So Jenkins is the mediator tool. It will act as a bridge. Okay, fine. Yeah. So once we install the plugin, after that we can create the jobs, right? For example, this code I want to pull from GitHub to Jenkins. This code, whatever code developed by developers, this code should be deployed finally, right? So this code I want to pull from GitHub to Jenkins, for which what I will do, I trigger the job, I prepare the job, I trigger the job. Once I trigger the job, this code will be pulled from GitHub to Jenkins. Okay, yeah. Once this code is pulled, this code we can say a raw code. Raw code. So what is raw code? It is a unstructured code, unformatted code, right? So this unstructured code we cannot directly deploy onto respective target servers. So here we have different servers are there. For example, we have different servers are there here, like WebLogic, WebSphere, right? Tomcat. So these are all the non-prod and production servers. So this is Tomcat server. This is Tomcat. This is WebLogic. This is JBoss server, right? So this is WebSphere server. So these are all we can say application servers, right? Different application servers. So now this code I want to deploy onto these target servers. If you want to deploy this code on these target servers, what we can do here?
We need Marvin.
Yeah. So this raw code will not be allowed by the servers. They will not understand. This raw code will not understand by application servers. That is why what we will do, we can integrate one more tool which is Maven. So this is the Maven. What is Maven? What Maven will do?
It will create the file according to the applications like jar file,
Yeah.
bar file.
Right. So Maven is a, we can say, build tool. Build tool. Maven is a build tool, right? What Maven will do? It generates artifacts. Generates artifacts, right? So what is artifact? What is artifact? It is a archive file, like binary file, zip file, right? So whatever code developed by developers, that code will be, the code will be pushed to the GitHub remote repository. From GitHub, Jenkins will take the raw code and it will hand over to Maven, right? So Maven, what Maven will do, it generates artifact. So how it will generate artifact? For example, so Java development is going here. Java development going. Java application is there. Okay. So in Java application, three types of applications will be there. For example, any development like Python development or .NET development or Java development, any development, three types of applications will be there. Okay, what are those? First one is desktop app development. Second one is web application development, and also Three types of developments will be there in real-time projects. So desktop application development. What is desktop application? Anyone? What is desktop application? Anyone?
I think it will be unconscious.
Right. So desktop application development is nothing but so in your desktop, in your system, locally whatever applications are working, right? For example, calculator, right? So this calculator is a desktop application, right? So this calculator is available in my laptop. So this calculator you cannot access. Your calculator I cannot access. So this will work in our local only, right? So which is nothing but it is a desktop application. We can say it is a desktop application. Okay, yeah. This desktop application, yeah, normally developers they work on desktop applications, web applications, and enterprise application. This desktop applications work in their in desktop only, local only, right? Yeah. So if the developers are developing desktop application, what Maven will do? It generates jar files. Jar files. What is jar? Java archive files. Java archive file. Okay. Jar is nothing but Java archive file, right? Fine. Yeah. So web application, for example, web application, right? So var web archive file, right? Web archive. So here web, yeah, var file. So if the developers are developing enterprise application, it generates ER file, ER, enterprise archive file. So based on the application development, Maven generates the respective artifacts, right? See here. So jar, var, ER, right? So desktop application, web application, enterprise application. So once it is generated, once Maven generated the respective artifact, for example, var file. So this web application development, so this var file, where we deploy this desktop application, locally we can deploy, right? So web application, we can deploy on servers. Those we can access through internet, right? So enterprise application, enterprise level, right? So at a time, millions of requests will come, right? So enterprise level, we can, yeah, people can access that. So we can deploy onto servers only, right? Yeah. So based on the application development, yeah. So as per the project team requirement, either desktop or web application or enterprise application, yeah. So they develop the applications. So that application, the code will be moved to the GitHub. So from here, Jenkins will take that code and it will hand over to Maven. Maven will convert into respective artifact. That artifact will be pushed to the respective target servers. Here we deploy the application. Clear, right, everyone? So Maven duty is to generate the artifacts, right? So along with that, generate the artifacts, Maven it will do. Maven will take care of one more activity, which is folder structure. So it generates folder structure also. Maven generate artifacts as well as folder structure, right? So I'll show you one code here, simple code. For example, this is my GitHub account. Don't confuse here, okay? So we are not developers, okay? You don't need to worry about the coding part, okay? Someone developed the code, I took the code for deployments, okay? So here, this is a GitHub account. So for example, here, if you check web app, so here in the web app, so I have a repository server here, okay? So in this, I have Docker file web app here. So in the web app, so there is a source folder. In the source folder, I have index.jsp. So yeah, this code developed by someone. I haven't developed. I'm not a developer. So in this, see here, this is the HTML code. This is the HTML code developed by someone. So while working on Git and Jenkins, we can deploy this code. How to deploy this code, I'll show you, right? So here, home, about, product, pricing, contact. So like that, tabs they generated. They prepare the tabs. So this is the coding part, right? We don't develop any coding here. So this code, whatever code developed by developers, that code we can deploy onto respective servers. Okay. And one more repository I want to show you. So this is the HTML code, and Maven generated code. I'll show you folder structure. We are talking about folder structure right here. Folder structure. So now I want to show you the Maven generated folder structure. Yes, here game of life. So one repository is there in my GitHub account. Game of life, one repository is there. Click here. So this developed by someone, which is his name Wakalayo, is from UK. Yeah. So here game of life. Click on this. Yeah. Click on game of life core. See here. These are the folder structures. These are the folders, different folders. So folder structure is nothing but, yeah. So in the repository, so game of life core, game of life build, game of life deploy, game of life web. So like this, yeah, required supporting folders.
Already it will create.
Maven generates. Maven generates. Maven take the raw code actually, and it generates war files or jar files, ER files. Along with that, it generates folder structure also. Okay, while working on Maven will go very deep, right? So while working on Git and Jenkins also, we can work on this coding, we can work on this repositories, and we can deploy this coding on, deploy this artifacts on target servers. Okay, yeah, I'll show you. So right away, if I explain everything, you will be confused. Okay, yeah. So clear, right, everyone? Up to here, it is clear, right, everyone?
And this another
Yeah.
is Jenkins is the only CI/CD tool or any other tools are there?
So many tools are there. So, but 85% of the project teams they are using Jenkins. If you learn Jenkins, you can handle any other tools, right? So in place of Jenkins, we can use the Team City also, right? So Team City is not popular tool, right? So yeah, 15% of the project teams they are using Team City and other tools also, right? So 85% of the project teams they are using Jenkins. Most of the project teams, fine, yeah. This is normally in live application. This process will be happened. For example, for example, if you take Flipkart, in the Flipkart, so every moment some changes will be added. Every moment, right? So this is the digital application, live application, right? So in the live application, for example, if you go to home and so it's here, home and furnishing, for example, these are the blankets. Okay, for example. So this pricing, see here, they're giving some offers here, some 70% off, right? So 68% off, right? Like this. Fine. Yeah. Sometimes what will happen? These offers will be changed. Sometimes, so products out of stock. Okay. So they add some more new products sometimes. We will modify that. We'll do that activities. Backend development team, backend application team, right? So what they will do, developers they modify the application in their local workspace. They move the code to remote repository. Once they push the code to remote repository, Jenkins automatically it will take and convert into artifact and deploy onto Flipkart server. So once it is deployed, the changes will be reflected. That is a live application, right? In live, so without downtime, that will be happen. But non-live applications also there. Non-live applications. Okay. So what are those applications? Non-live applications. Non-live applications are nothing but, for example, we can say, uh, we can say non-live applications. Yeah. For example, I'm giving one example here, which is um, HarshaTrainings.com. So, for example, this is the non-live application. This is the non-live application. It is not live application. So, in live, we don't update anything here. Okay. Yeah. So, non-live applications, what will happen? Now, for non-live applications, what will happen? Whatever WAR files are generated by Maven, those WAR files we can store in the repository, which is, we can say, Nexus repo. Nexus repo, right? So what is Nexus? Nexus is a repository to store our artifacts. We use the Nexus repo here, right? So in non-live applications, whatever artifact generated by Maven, those artifacts we can store in Nexus. Whenever we have a release, by the time we can push these WAR files to target servers, we can deploy WAR files
Whenever required, we can deploy.
whenever required, right? So normally the sprint going to complete by today EOD. One sprint is going to complete today EOD. So that, yeah, that sprint, once complete the sprint, so the sprint WAR files we can deploy onto respective target servers. Okay, yeah. So people are talking about we have released this today. Today we have released. This weekend we have released. Next weekend we have released. People always talk about that. So what is release? Anyone?
Pushing the code to the respective servers.
Deployments, simply we can say whatever WAR files we stored on the Nexus repository, those we can push to the target servers and we can deploy onto target servers.
And can we schedule a job like whenever required
Yes,
for to push this
yes.
artifact?
Even this Nexus also integrated with the Jenkins only.
Okay.
I'm showing the flow like this, but it will integrate with the Jenkins only, right? Jenkins will trigger that, right? So the WAR file will be pushed to the respective target servers and we can deploy the WAR files on target servers. Clear, right, everyone? Yeah, fine. So developers are developing the code. So DevOps engineers are deploying the applications. Testers, where the testing will be happened?
With the testing servers.
In QA servers.
Yeah.
Testing and tools.
So testers, they use the manual testing or automation testing. So by using use cases like test cases, they test the code. So along with that, one more thing will be happen here, which is one more tool is there, which is, we can say, we have another tool which is Sonar Code Review tool. Sonar Code Review tool. Sonar Code Review. What is Sonar Code Review?
It will review the code. If anything wrong, it will push back to Jenkins.
Yeah.
Is it
So
right?
developers, so in between Git and Jenkins, developers test the code, manual testing or automation testing. So after that, the code will flow. Yeah, the code will flow through the Sonar Code Review, right? So Sonar Code Review tool is the review tool. So every project team they maintain some code standards, right? So Sonar is a very popular tool. So it will review the code in Sonar. What they will do, developers. So this is completely developer tool. GitHub Sonar completely developer tool. Okay. So in Sonar, what they will do, developers, testers, they create some metrics. Metrics. What is metric?
Calculation like
Yeah, some thresholds,
some threshold.
some threshold they create. So if any duplicate lines are there, errors are there, right? Sonar Code Review, what it will do, it will review the code, it will provide the report, right? So for example, normally we have Flipkart application. In this Flipkart application, so if you have any duplicate lines, what will happen? The product will show you three times, four times, right? Errors are there in the coding part. What will happen? Whenever you try to book any product, it will not open, it will give you error, right? So that is why in Sonar, testers, developers, what they will do, they create some metrics. If any duplicate lines are there, errors are there, so it will give you a report, right?
So let me
So immediately testers will log into the server. Tester, they can check the coding. So they test the code. So they revert back to previous state. So local workspace. They again developer, they modified that. They can again push the code to remote repository. So multiple times testing will be happened. So after the Sonar also review the code. Once it is tested, once it is success, then the code will be moved to the Jenkins. From here, it will convert into warfare. Right? So clear, right, everyone? So this flow is very, very important. This we can say build and release process. Build and release process or CI/CD process. We can say CI/CD also, right? Yeah. So this every organization they are using the same flow. Every organization, right? Yeah. So every project team required they are working on Agile, right? Currently. So without CI/CD, so Agile will not work. Without CI/CD, Agile will not work, right? Yeah. Okay. So we are talking about Git, Jenkins, Maven, Tomcat, Sonar, Nexus, right? So other tools, we have so many tools are there, right? Advanced tools, right? So what are those other tools? Yeah. Yes.
So testing will be happen in the Jenkins environment or
Yeah. So before converting to WAR file, testing will be happened. Once converted to WAR file also, one more time testing will be happened. Okay.
unit testing everything will be happen in the Jenkins.
Jenkins level. Yes. Correct. Right? Yeah. We have other tools also, which are like
So the Jenkins is like the integration tool between the test developer, integration testing, and as well as the production.
yes, yes, correct. It is a mediator tool. Yes, Jenkins act as a mediator tool. So because we have so many tools are there in DevOps, so all the tools, individual tools, right? They cannot communicate with each
So
other.
yes, Jenkins.
That is why we require Jenkins here.
And also Jenkins is supported with all the three cloud environments
Yes, yes.
like AWS,
Any cloud, yes.
any cloud.
Yeah, you can integrate Jenkins with the Azure. You
It's
can
an
integrate Jenkins with the Google Cloud.
it's an amplifier, right?
Which one?
CSV goes with .yaml.
YAML is different. YAML is we use in Ansible. YAML language we use in Ansible. So YAML scripts we don't prepare the coding part. YAML scripts we use in Ansible. Okay. Yeah. So Ansible is an advanced tool, right? So what is Ansible? It is a configuration management tool. It is a configuration management tool. So what is a configuration management tool? So whatever deployments we are doing currently, right? So by using Ansible also we can deploy the applications. So we can say single click deployments. By using Ansible, we can automate any activities, right? So here by using Jenkins also we are deploying application. But by using Ansible, we can automate the activities. Okay, this is a very advanced tool. Fine. So along with this, we have Docker. Docker is a container tool, right? So what is container? Anyone? In general, container. What is container?
Storage
Storage.
server.
Just like box,
Box.
right? So that box we can move anywhere, we can use anywhere, right? Yeah. So in Docker container, Docker, so containers are lightweight standalone. Containers are lightweight standalone. So currently, most of the project teams they are using containers. So in place of virtual servers, we can use the containers. So containers are advanced virtual servers, right? So currently we are using so many digital applications like Flipkart, Amazon Shopping Site, Blinkit, Danjo, Japto, right? So these are all digital applications. Those applications hosted in the containers only. So when we place any order, they are delivering the provisions within 5-10 minutes, right? So because backend they have uh, lightweight environment is there, containers, Docker containers. So immediately that will be processed, right? Yeah. So next one is Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is it is a container orchestration tool. Container orchestration, right? Advanced to Docker. Advanced to Docker. Kubernetes is advanced to Docker. Okay. So Docker, Kubernetes, these two tools are very hot in the market currently. Okay. If you are good in Docker or Kubernetes, you can easily crack your entry. Okay. Yeah. So next one is Terraform. Terraform. What is Terraform? Infrastructure automation tool. For example, one project team required 1,000 servers. So by using Terraform, we can create within 1 minute all the servers with all packages, all conversions, everything. Okay. So yeah, earlier, like 10 years back, 15 years back, so infrastructure maintenance cost, it was more, right? So currently, by using advanced tools, we are creating infrastructure within 1 minute. We are automatic, right? So along with these tools, we have Grafana and also Prometheus, and also JFrog, and also JFrog. Okay. So Grafana, Prometheus, these two tools are monitoring tools. And these two tools are monitoring. These tools are very advanced tools. Okay. So this is again, this is artifact tool. Okay. Yeah. So we have already one artifact tool, right, which is Maven. So JFrog also artifact tool. Okay. Yeah. So this Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform also we can integrate with the Jenkins if required. It is not mandatory, right? So if the project is required, we can integrate. So how can we integrate?
Plugins.
Just plugin, right? So if you install respective plugin, integration will be happened. So after that, Jenkins will start communicating with the respective tool. Clear it, everyone?
So then most of the projects they will use only Jenkins because of
Yeah.
that.
Most of the positives, yes, Jenkins. So Jenkins is very popular tool, right? So even in place of Kubernetes also we can use the alternate tools. But Kubernetes is very popular tool, advanced tool. So Kubernetes is, yeah, who is the vendor of Kubernetes? Anyone having idea? Kubernetes vendor is Google. Kubernetes vendor is Google, right? So whoever opting Google Cloud platform, yeah, the customers are getting Kubernetes free. They're giving offer like this. That is why Kubernetes is very popular now. So in place of Kubernetes, we can use the OpenShift. OpenShift is one more popular tool, which is a Red Hat product. So Kubernetes occupied 90% of the market. So other percent other tools. Okay. Any questions here? Anyone? Online guys? Anyone having any questions here? So is plugin is the connection between, yeah, plugin is a package. Once you install the plugin, then integration will be happened.
So how these plugins will be installed?
Yeah, I'll show you practically. While working on Jenkins, I'll show you practically. So go to plugins tab. One plugins tab will be there. So default, all the plugins are available. If the plugin is not available, that we need to download and we need to upload to the Jenkins.
Are we doing it in Linux? No.
Yeah, back in Linux only. Back in Linux only, right? Yeah. What about application security? Okay. So application security layers will be there. That we will discuss definitely. Yes. Siraj, definitely will discuss. Security also will be there. Yeah, Harit Prasant asking some question here. Uh, once offline, yeah, explain please once offline application. Okay. So offline application is, it is, yeah, for example, see here. So in live application, whatever code developed by developers, that will be pushed to the remote repository. From here, Jenkins will take the code, convert to artifact, deploy onto target servers. That is live application. But non-live application, what will happen? Yeah, so whatever code developed by developers, that will be pushed to the GitHub. Jenkins will take the code, convert to artifact, save in the Nexus repo. So whenever we have release, by the time this artifact will be pushed to the respective servers. For example, this weekend we have released one sprint completed today. That sprint converted to artifact we stored in the Nexus. So this weekend we have released. By the time what we will do, we can prepare one more job here in the Jenkins. We schedule the job. So as per the schedule, the job will be triggered and that war file will be pushed to the
server.
target server. So here we deploy the war file. Okay. So clear, right?
So, to deploy the job, you need to write any scripts, or it is automatic.
Yeah. So to deploy the applications in Jenkins, we have three types of projects are there. So freestyle project. Freestyle project is we don't require any scripting here. Okay. Pipeline project. Pipeline project is there. In the pipeline project, we use the Groovy script. Groovy script. So we have another project also there, which is a multi-branching pipeline. For that also we use the Groovy. Freestyle, pipeline, multi-branching. So these three are very, very important. Okay. So in real-time projects, always we are using this freestyle, pipeline, multi-branching. So I cover interview questions also while working on this activities. Fine. In the last interview, I attended one interview. Yeah.
So freestyle means only particular server it will go. In multiple, like the pipeline will be created to multiple applications.
Yeah. Multi-branching pipeline is nothing but at a time multiple branches will be triggered.
Created,
That means
So
different regions will be
it will be pulled, yeah.
for example, in parallel development, we create the branching. Branches will be there. So while working on Git, I'll show you branching strategies. Okay. So multiple branches will be triggered at a time when we use the multi-branch.
So if it is independent,
Yes.
don't just one job is not dependent on another, then it will trigger a multiple.
Yes,
In the
yes.
pipeline, it is dependent.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
One stage, you need to go for it.
Yeah. So practically we'll see that. Okay. So while working on Jenkins and Git, we will go very deep, right? So practically we'll see that how the branches will be created, how the branching code will be triggered to the respective target servers. Okay. How the code will be converted into artifact. Practically we'll see that. Fine. Any other questions, anyone?
Hi, Ram.
Yeah. Hi. Go ahead,
Uh,
please.
you told that you were explaining about the Java project, right? It will be converted into jar file. If it's a desktop application, jar file, web application,
Yes.
it will be a var file. So
Exactly.
uh, it might be any kind of technology. It will be converting into the same technology, same jar files and var files and EAR files, or will there be any difference?
Not like that. Not like that. Okay. So
Whatever
I'll show
might be
you.
the same.
Yeah, I'll show you definitely. Yeah, good question. Yeah, Java archive file. We are calling it Java archive file, right? So like that, we have a .NET, Ruby scripts, Ruby code will be there, and Python code will be there, and a Scala. Different technologies are there. So their respective format will be converted. So in that, either desktop or web application or enterprise application. So as per the requirement. So Maven is very advanced tool. Any technology it will support, not only for Java. Maven support any technology. So while working on Maven, I'll show you definitely. Okay.
Okay, and can you please elaborate about that parallel development about agile sprint?
Right. Right. So earlier, 10 years back, 15 years back, we used to work on waterfall methodology. So by the time, yeah, while working, I worked with Verizon Data Services. So from 2005 to 2012. So by the time, our team they used to work on Agile waterfall only. Okay. So by the time our team size 180 members, developers, testers, admins, right, and other teams. Okay. So by the time small application development, they used to take 6 months, 1 year, 2 years like that, right? Yeah. In the waterfall methodology, sequentially development will be happened. Sequentially. So while working on any development activity, if any art fix happened, they used to stop the development. They work on the fixes. They take 15 days, 1 month like that. So after that, again they roll back. They resume the activities. Okay, yeah. By the time, for example, I give you one small example. So in our project, by the time one application developed by development team, which is a DSSO application. DSSO application name DSSO, right? So what is SSO? Anyone having idea? What is SSO? Single sign-on, right? DSSO is advanced one, digital single sign-on, right? So if you log in that single sign-on, automatically it will supply the credentials to other tools, all the tools, right? So for that application, they took nearly 2 years time. That is product-based company. Verizon Data Service is the product-based company, internal project only, not for client. They took 2 years, right? 2 years in that project. Two managers are there, one director is there, one delivery head is there, and four leads are there, leads, right? And team members, right? By the time we used to discuss about like this is a very small application by people are taking 2 years, 1.5 year like that, right? But currently it is not like that. So we are using Agile. So that DSS application. So if you yeah, currently if you design in Agile parallel development, within 10 days we can complete because parallel development, right? So parallelly one application development will be divided into bits and pieces, right? So few people will work on the front end, few people will work on the back end, database, like that, divided into bits and pieces. They can complete within the time frame. That should be completed within 10 days, 15 days. That will be completed, right? But waterfall will take more time, more billing will happen with the clients. But currently Agile is a parallel development. So parallelly activities will be happen. So while working on development activity, so if any hot fixes happen, we create one more branch. In that branch, we delegate some people. They fix the issues parallelly. Developers will not stop the development, right? So parallelly activities will be happen. Here, so yeah, this development speed, the development will happen very faster, right? So in Agile currently, yeah, any kind of application, maximum 1 month, 2 months like that. Any core application, right? But earlier not like that. So they used to take 6 months, 1 year like that, right? So parallel development is nothing but it is a parallelly it will divide into bits and pieces like sprints. The sprints should be completed within the time frame. Different teams they work on the sprints. They integrate as a application. You understand, right? So
Thanks,
that we'll
Harsha.
see that how can we divide into bits and pieces, how can we work on that, how can we integrate, we'll see that practically while working on this. Fine, any other questions? Fine. Yeah, so tomorrow and day after we are going to work on basics, servers, network, storage, and IP addresses, subnet mask gateways, firewalls, load balancers, clusters, right? So tomorrow, day after, we are going to work on basics. After that, yeah, Thursday we are going to start AWS. Thursday, okay. So Thursday onwards, AWS, right? AWS introduction, AWS account creation, AWS console overview, right? So tomorrow, day after, very important. So don't miss the session. So this terminology is very important. Like so before going to cloud, we need to understand this terminology. Servers, networks, these are all right. Yeah. So tomorrow, day after, don't miss the session. So Thursday onwards, we are going to start AWS. Okay, AWS will go very deep dive. Every service, nearly 42 services will be covered. 42 services. If you are good in AWS, you can handle any cloud platform. Clear, right, everyone? Fine. So WhatsApp group already created. So whoever, yeah, people who are not attended so far, you'll get the recording session. From tomorrow, you can go through the recordings and you can register and you can continue from tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. So WhatsApp, in the WhatsApp group, already people added. Okay. So if you are interested, you can make the fee and you can add into WhatsApp too. Fine. Yeah, we can wind up here. So tomorrow's session is very, very important. Don't miss the session tomorrow. Fine. Thank you
How
all.
will notes be shared,
Yeah.
Ram?
Recording sessions, right?
No. Will there be any notes which will
Yeah,
be
yeah.
shared through mail or
Yeah.
something?
We created one Google Drive. In the
Okay.
drive, we upload all the documentation, recordings
Okay.
also, right?
Ah,
We share with you the path. Okay. So once
okay.
yeah, you registered, you'll be added into WhatsApp group. So
Mm.
we'll share the path. You can download the documents and you can go through the recordings.
No.
Fine. Yeah, we can wind up here. Fine. Thank you all.